And now, here's Rob Dibble.
I honestly thought Thibodeau outcoached Missoula in the last 20 seconds, allowing Tatum to get that dunk, allowed the Knicks to go down and score with, 5 seconds left, and then the Celtics had to try to run another play through Tatum, and he got stuffed. But 2-0 now, Knicks up over the Boston Celtics. Just like the Cleveland Cavaliers, these top-seeded teams look like ordinary teams in the playoffs right now because that's basketball. Guys like Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, when they're all in, it's Michael Bridges. Like I said, in the first game, he played 51 minutes. I mean, these guys, Josh Hart, they are all in to take out the Celtics and then move on to whoever they're going to have to play after that. But Celtics, man, now you got to win 4 out of the last 5, if that's even possible, if it can go that far, and you got to start with Game 3 in New York.
And it's another comeback, and another game the Celtics should have
They were up
won.
20.
Big time. Another one in the fourth quarter, even. Like, they got a commanding lead, and they just do not take care of the basketball or take decent shots or just get buckets. At
Or
the end.
eat the clock.
Correct.
They just keep coming down and shooting threes.
I remember this reminds me of when the Celtics got beat by the Miami Heat. Was that the Nuggets finals where Jimmy Butler goes off and he gets the Miami Heat somehow to the NBA finals? We're all kind of shocked and surprised. And I remember in that series, so many people were telling me, the Heat haven't won as many quarters in the season as the Celtics have won.
What the hell does that mean?
90% of the quarters. And, it's about the games, man. They don't count quarters. It's about the games. And right now, the Celtics are dominant first through third. But when it matters most, when you want to win the game, they can't finish the job. And that last possession, the last 3 possessions, 2 for the Celtics, 1 for the Knicks. Tatum gets a dunk with ease. And it was almost like, okay, let's stop dilly-dallying around the 3-point. Just give me the ball. I'm going to go in and I'm going to slam it. And it was like, you can do that. And then I think that the Knicks, he gets the ball again. The Knicks come down. They get their 2. They go up 1 point. Yep. He gets the ball again. And Mitchell Robinson, hell of a job one-on-one. Yep. And the Celtics knew, this guy's going to try to do the same damn thing. And they walled him off. And they did not call a timeout to set anything up. Nope. None of his mates were looking to get open and get that last-second shot. They were all thinking, okay, here you go. You just did it that last possession. Let's see you do it again. And excellent job by the defense. 3 guys swarmed him as he tries to throw that pass out. And the rest is history, man. They're up 2 games.
Well, listen, It's you live by the 3, you die by the 3. They are 25 for 100 in the first 2 games here in 3-point attempts at 25%. This one was 10 for 40 last night. Tatum with 13. Jalen did hit 20 points, but Derek White with 20. Holiday with 10. But these guys defensively could not stop the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns is an absolute beast. 17 rebounds last night. 21 points. Josh Hart had 23 points because Brunson didn't have the greatest shooting night, 2 for 9 from 3. So when your stars aren't playing well, like Brown and Tatum right now, other guys have to step up. Al Horford had to play a lot of minutes again because Porzingis played 14 whole minutes. And that's the embarrassment here. Guy had 13 minutes in the first game, 14 minutes in the. When your stars disappear due to illness or any other thing that's going on with them, like you said about the Cavaliers, and you're a little bit undermanned. There was one shot at the end of the game. Again, it's Al Horford on Brunson. Brunson sinks it, and it's just daggers. Got to be to the Celtics fans' hearts because you don't want that guy defending that guy.
Well, that's Thibodeau.
But the Knicks do. The Knicks want the switch.
Exactly.
The Celtics keep getting sucked into the switch.
Exactly. That's Thibodeau setting that up. And they know. When they see Horford, it's almost like a cornerback that you can pick on in the NFL. Like, okay, we've got to get a situation where we can get a ball screen up top. And even if the play develops later, at least we've got Horford stuck on Brunson. And if he's stuck on Brunson and Brunson doesn't have the ball, he's out. He's out there on the 3-point line. If you're going to work with Luke Cornett or you're going to work with an ill Porzingis, they ain't stopping a nosebleed up there and down low with Karl Anthony Towns. I think Karl Anthony Towns is even better than what we're seeing. He still is
A lollygagger.
Not only just he's a palms up guy. He's a palms up guy, and he was getting bumped around. Hart was getting bumped around too, and they're all looking at the ref for like a call. Yep. Boys, they ain't giving you that this time around. I understand Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum at the end may have got some kiss me calls and may have, but they're at home. I just don't think the Knicks should be even counting on it. Just play like it's not going to get called. Karl-Anthony Towns, you're going to get bumped, man. You're going to get pushed around. Expect it. And just when you get those foul shots, take them and make them. But he's been making some real difficult shots on the baseline. It isn't.
They're making him work for shots,
yes,
but at the same token, it's the same thing with the Knicks defense. They have an excellent defense. They have guys that can really match up with the Celtics. It's a bad matchup for the Celtics, and Tatum is having trouble getting his shots off. Brown's having trouble getting his shots off. So other guys are open, and of course, my favorite, Al Horford, 0 for 5 from 3.
Yeah.
I want a 7-foot old man taking threes. Get the hell out of here. I don't. I'd rather have Pritchard in there. Pritchard is a sniper.
Yeah.
He's being paid to do what? Score from 3. And I can't even get on Porzingis. The 14 minutes, he was 1 for 1 from 3. So I wish he could have stayed in the game for some unknown reason. Again, these guys are unavailable. And the best ability is availability. So I think right now the Knicks are not only out-coaching the Celtics, but they're in the battle of threes. They're like, listen, we weren't shooting threes. We got to go get twos. And they did that in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Celtics 30-17, coming back from down 20 and winning this game. And now you're 2-0, and you go back to Madison Square Garden for Game 3 and Game 4. Listen, everybody in Vegas had the Celtics blowing out the Knicks in Game 2. And I told you before the game, I said, if I'm Thibodeau, I walk in here and I go, 10.5.
Yeah.
That's the point spread.
Right. Yeah.
10.5. They don't think you guys are worth the crap.
Right.
This is the point spread tonight. And honestly, the Celtics played up to that for 3 quarters until it finally clicked. Hey, we're in trouble, but we can still win this game. So I just think, listen, I give a lot of credit to the Knicks. They outplayed the Celtics in the final 12 minutes of that game. They deserve to take that game and go up 2-0 going back to New York.
My guy's Miles McBride. I know that there's only 11 points off the bench, but I thought Mitchell Robinson in the fourth quarter played some amazing defense, and especially when he's got to switch on either a Derek White or a Jason Tatum. It's a problem for those guys because his wingspan and his length, it's a problem for him to get around. But I think Miles McBride, Deuce, as they call him, his buckets are in moments where you think all hope is lost.
Where it's critical to turn
turn
the momentum the other way.
His 2 buckets, one was a jam, a coast-to-coast jam in the face of Al Horford, and then the other was a three-pointer that really got that comeback rolling. And it felt like Miles McBride gets out there, he's like, yeah, guys, come on. We can still do this. Right. And it's like, I don't know how this bench player is getting them to believe like that, but then it seems like the rest of the team kind of comes through. Josh Hart was amazing again last night. I mean, that's the guy you're talking about for defense. Dude. He's everywhere. Yeah, tremendous. Like underneath, outside, wherever you want him, whatever you need, Josh Hart's going to give it to you. It's a fun series, man. New York's, what did you say tickets were right now? Saturday,
The cheapest resale ticket right now for people trying to make a buck off the next game is $650.
Yeah.
So if you want to be in the nosebleeds, that's the cheapest tickets.
Now, I was worried that if they got blown out twice, the Knicks, that nobody was going to show up for those games.
No, they're
now
crazed.
Now
they're absolutely crazed. It's sharks in the water.
It's like a Taylor Swift situation where all the stars want to be seen and like everybody's going to get front row.
I love the Knicks fans because you were in Boston. You're in the Lions Den, so to speak, and you wouldn't even leave the arena. Because you're so pumped up for Game 3, you're like you want to play right now.
Yeah.
And I love the TD Garden's security didn't know what to do with themselves. I'm telling you to leave. The lady's falling all over the chairs. Like, lady, they're gonna leave. Let them just stand there and they'll sober up and they'll walk out the door. But this game, it's game on now. Like I said, now it's for the Celtics. You need to win 4 out of 5. For the Knicks, you need to win 2 of the last 5, and you move on. So I honestly, I think the Knicks, if they lose this series, that would be absolutely devastating. If I'm a Knicks fan.
They're in the driver's seat for sure. A travel day.
What? They taking a bus or a train?
I think they're walking there. Saturday is
the
the
Celtics
game
should
3.
walk.
So I guess they got to take a long time. I don't know what we're dodging. Only one game tonight. What was that? Minnesota Golden State? Was that the game tonight? The one game?
Yeah.
Oklahoma City will be tied going to Denver as they won last night. 149 points on the board. This game was over quick, and it was not the situation like we saw in Boston. Oklahoma City got up big, and they stayed up big and dominated the Nuggets last night.
We got afternoon baseball people all over the place. The Red Sox are up 3-0 on the Rangers in the 5th. Orioles and the Twins are tied at 2 in the 8th. The White Sox and the Royals. This is the White Sox have 10 wins and 27 losses. 2-0. They're having trouble scoring runs again. And the Tigers Rockies just started.
Love it.
They got a double Wago today.
Love it. I don't know if you watched any hockey last night. I watched a little of those Leafs and those Panthers, which was an excellent game. Another comeback win. The Toronto Leafs make it 2-0 against the Florida Panthers, but the Panthers were up until that third period. An entertaining game all the way around. Lots of hits, lots of goals, lots of great saves, lots of everything. Your man Marchand doing Marchand things. I was telling the boys there's this goal he has where he just like beats up his guy that's guarding him.
Right, to get away from him.
Right, like sends him up the ice and like get out of here, and then he's wide open and puts one in. But they lose in the end, and they got some work to do going back to Florida. So that should be a fun series as well. Dallas beat Winnipeg last night on the road, or Winnipeg, the home team, who loses. So
yes,
that
we got
series just started.
Game 2, Carolina-Washington tonight. The late one is Edmonton versus Vegas. Edmonton is up 1-0 in that one.
So I saw Dylan Cease. I was getting an alert, no-hitter alert. Dylan Cease, no-hitting the New York Yankees, and then his arm fell off. What happened to Dylan Cease last night? Yankees end up winning 4-3, but it didn't look good for those New York Yankees to begin that baseball game.
Listen, it's about bullpens now. That's the game. Final 9, final 12 outs of every game. And, you know, the fact that the Yankees can find a way to win with this lineup is encouraging. If I'm Aaron Boone and I'm looking out there and I'm like, I got like 5 guys hitting around 200. Actually, 3. There's 2 guys hitting around 240. Then I've got 2 guys hitting like 350. Well, one guy hitting 350, one guy hitting 420. You know, that's impressive to me. Jazz Chisholm and your torpedo bat and all that other nonsense. Listen, you got a good ball club. And honestly, other than maybe Warren in that rotation, they've got a very strong rotation, even with the Garrett Cole injury. And I think that Yankees are going to hang around all year. Red Sox, they should hang around all year, even with some of the nonsense that's going on with them. Now, I guess Gonzalez was hurt last night, or what's the guy's name? Romy. And he was hurt, but they're talking about bringing in Anthony Rizzo. There's always another player that can come in and fill in. And right now, as I said, the Red Sox are up on the Rangers in the early goings in that game.
So I said Dylan Cease left the game last night with cramping in his right forearm. He was cruising, man, cruising. His only hit was a home run, I think, that he gave up, a solo job. But 6 2/3, cruising, one hitter, cramping in the right arm. Bye-bye, and there goes his win.
Well, he throws a lot of off-speed stuff like everybody else. Fried, he was on top of his game. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. 1 run was a home run. What's impressive to me is no walks. No walks, 8 strikeouts for 100 pitches. It's still a lot of work for 21 outs, but that's honestly, it's economical in today's pitching world. You know, usually it's 100 for 5 innings. So Max Fried continues to deliver. Hunter Green, his injury last night, 3 innings, hurt his groin. So you've got 2 guys now in the last 2 days.
Oh, yeah!
I was hoping we'd hear this.
Groin injury.
So Teoscar Hernandez is out right now with the Dodgers with a groin injury. But in Hunter Green's case, he was rolling.
Oh man!
This year, and now he's got a groin injury. And again, now you gotta be very careful. It's dicey when you're talking about legs and his arm. He's coming off Tommy John a couple years ago.
That's what I was going to ask you. What was his last one?
Tommy John 2 years ago.
Just had a big stint of sitting on the bench. That sucks, man. He was cruising. He was having a great year. Well, it's not over yet.
It's not over yet, but again, now you got to be cautious, and hopefully it's not a tear. Torn groin versus just a strain. Man,
you're Red reporters, the Cincinnati Enquirer.
They're always doom and gloom. They're too
minor injury for Hunter Green, still a major problem for the Reds.
Because he's one of the most talented dudes in baseball, like any kind of talent on the Reds. Yeah, he got like 120, 130 million, which to me in that mid market is an awful lot of money. But in today's standards, it's really not. It's Tito Francona's got 35 games with the Reds this year. Okay, he doesn't have, give this guy like a year or two to turn over this roster a little bit, get more Terry Francona-like players, find some guys in the minor leagues that are like a Jose Ramirez type guy. He's always had like grinders. If you go back to the Red Sox, you had like the Pedroias and guys like that. That's the kind of guy Terry Francona wants, a guy that was like him, maybe not a superstar, but an all-star. And a guy that's going to motivate the rest of the team. Like I told you, he went down to Dominican to talk to De La Cruz and say, dude, you need to be a leader on this team. Guy's gotten off to a horrible start. So, he's not doing what Terry Francona wanted him to do on the field. Maybe he's doing that off the field. I don't know. But it's going to take time. But in Cincinnati, if you haven't won the championship in 35 games, Jesus, we should probably start thinking about getting rid of Terry Francona.
Well, that's what the Pirates are thinking about. Everything's going to change in Pittsburgh starting now. Derek Shelton has been relieved of his duties as manager from the Pittsburgh Pirates after a 7-game slide.
Ben Cherington, former Red Sox GM.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's just
all these names.
Didn't give the guy any talent except for like Skeens and a handful of other guys.
Even Skeens, though, he doesn't, crack the payroll like other guys.
No.
So he's a luxury to have, especially this early in his career. They were 26
like you said,
of 30
they paid
payroll.
Reynolds to keep him and not trade him, and I thought that was a mistake. A couple years ago when the Yankees wanted him to play outfield, they were desperate to trade like 5 of their best prospects for him, and you said no. But now a couple years later, he looks older.
Yeah.
He's making a ton of money. It's like what, Nick? You were just telling me today. Chris Bryant. He's on the IL. The guy's hitting $1 something, making $25-30 million annually. He's the highest paid guy on your team. Those kind of contracts hurt when the guys aren't playing well and when the guys get hurt and now they're sitting. They make upper management look terrible, and this Shelton pays for it with his job because you didn't really give him a lot of toys to play with and fight. That's a tough division. When you're in the same division with the Milwaukee Brewers and the Cubs and the Reds and the Cardinals, you've got to be able to have the same type of payroll that you can throw out there. The Reds don't want to pay. The Pirates don't want to pay. They suffer miserably year in and year out.
And I know it's about winning, but it's not really about butts in the seats or selling tickets anymore, but it still is about ratings and it still is entertainment. And if you're not winning and you're still sending out guys that hit home runs, or it's a show, or it's something worth going to the ballpark to see, like a skiing start that only happens once every 5 days, then management's not going to get their ROI. And everything you're saying is right, 100%. They don't put a good product on the field, period. But also, when you're 29th in runs, 28th in home runs, 27th in average, not a lot of people want to go to the ballpark and just, read a book just to be in an outside
facility. You also have the Bucko Brick story a week ago where, you pulled up all these bricks and you dumped them. And it's like you have no respect for your fan base. And you showed that with pulling up these bricks that $1 million was going to the Roberto Clemente Fund, which is all about the fans and all about giving back to the community. Then you look at the team. The team sucks. They're 12-26. They already look like they're going the wrong way already, 40 games into the season. And now you're going to fire the head coach and be like, okay, well, it's his fault. It's his fault we're going the wrong way, and it's not upper management. It's not analytics. We've got Paul Skeens. He's our shiny object right now. Look at him. Look at him and Livy Dunn over here. Right. No, the other 25 guys are okay, mediocre type players. McCutcheon's a great dude, but dude, his time is come and gone. You got to stay with the younger, crowd that you have in your division. That's why your Cubos are looking good. You got your Crow Armstrong, dude. That guy's one of the fastest guys in baseball. He's fun to watch. Yeah. They're stealing a ton of bases. It's a fun you probably overpaid for Craig Counsell to steal him away from the Brewers, but that's addition by subtraction. We took your manager and we brought him over to us. Now, Murphy's done a great job taking over for Counsell with the Milwaukee Brewers. Why? They have some talent there. So the Cubs and the Brewers have the most talent. The Cardinals were hitting really well for a little bit. Now everybody made some adjustments. Now the Cardinals aren't hitting so well, and they're right where they are. So you've got three teams: Brewers, Reds, and Cardinals, all at 500 at 19-19. And the Cubs right now are playing some good baseball. But you know what? You're Cub fans. You're a Cub fan. You're going to go to the games anyway. It's different in Pittsburgh, in Cincinnati. These people, they listen to the big radio stations like in Cincinnati, WLW. I don't know what the one is in Pittsburgh, but it's all about football. It's all about the Penguins. It's all about your Pirates. And if the Pirates are your weakest link right now, which they are, these people are not going to go to the ballpark. So everything that the Pirates are doing right now is not to gain interest and eyeballs on their product.
Good news for Pirate fans. Kevin Markwood, the guy who fell off the wall, 20-year-old man, has walked. He has broken his silence, and he is talking to the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. So he's doing interviews. He is talking. He still has a lot of back pain, he says, and it's really hard for him to sleep. But he is out of the hospital. He has been released. You guys were telling me about the footage yesterday. I finally saw the actual footage of him falling from this wall. It's all on him. Like, it's definitely all on him. But it
looked like he was trying to do some gymnastics move on the top bar.
Well, but they have more video of it, and it's more like a celebration.
Yeah, he's like really excited.
He's really excited. So
he's like, yippee! And then he just goes right over there.
I don't want to say anything about maybe he was drinking or whatever, but he is a young guy, and for him to, I don't care if he's had a couple of pops.
He shouldn't know if he's only 20.
To lose his balance and fall, even if it was 21 feet, he's lucky to be alive.
I totally
Absolutely
agree.
Lucky and blessed to be alive.
Totally agree.
By the way, we buried the lead. We have a new pope.
And by the way, he's a
Chicago.
Cubs fan. No! Hell yeah! Let's go Cubs!
No, worse than that.
Cubs!
He went to Villanova.
Nova. Oh, I know, he went to Nova.
Oh,
so he's a Big East guy. He's a Big East guy.
All right, he's a Big East guy, but he still went to Villanova. My wife was upset. You went to Villanova?
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, hon.
But I'm seeing the posts online that with all the Villanova guys on the Knicks.
Yep.
And now we get the Pope that's out of Villanova. It's time to bet the Knicks all the money on it.
Yep. Knicks and Cubs. Knicks and Cubs.
Knicks and Cubs. This is your year.
Hell
you already
yeah.
had your year. What, in 16?
I bet she's a Pacer fan. I bet she loves the Hurricanes. I bet she likes all my teams.
Oh, my God.
Let's go, Pope.
Let's go. And let the joke start, though. I mean, he's from Chicago, man.
I know.
He's tough. He's like Al Capone.
Speaking a lot of Italian today. Didn't really sound like
he is Chicago. Italian. What do you mean speaking Italian? He knows he's Italian.
I learned today that Ave Maria is Hail Mary. And we should be using that in our football vernacular, I think. Instead of throwing Hail Marys, we should be throwing Ave Marias.
Ave Marias? Yeah.
Is that true? I don't know. Am I right on that? I was just listening to the translator trying to translate the guy from Chicago speaking Italian. You have to learn Italian to be Pope?
No, I think he already knew Italian. I don't think he had to learn it.
Is that like a thing?
They got to learn Latin, too.
What? So, like, if Dibs and I are
they
up for
say,
Pope.
like the old school Catholics, they say Mass in Latin.
Yeah,
so
like before 1967, they would say Mass in Latin, facing the crucifix, not facing the congregation.
And you needed to learn Latin growing up, and we don't do that anymore.
Not buying it. Not buying it.
What do you mean not buying it?
Oh, he's not facing you. He's facing the crucifix. He's faking it. Dudes are faking it all over this land. They don't know
before 1967.
You guys are just believing it. You guys
call it faith.
You're buying. You're having faith.
Thank you. It's called our faith.
I guess, yeah. So, like, on top of the religious part, you also have to have faith that this guy actually knows Latin. I love that. What a revelation for me.
All right,
Pope Leo, right?
Right, so Ave Maria is the beginning of the Latin version, like Kurt said, of the Hail Mary prayer.
So Ava doesn't
Hail
mean
Mary,
hail.
full of grace, the Lord is with you.
Mary, Maria. That's what I'm getting. That's all I think. Okay.
So it means, Mary, exactly.
Now, Nick.
But it also means greetings and salutations.
Okay. What about when a guy's trying to throw a 50-yard pass to win the game
You
at
could
the
say,
end? It's Ave Maria!
Absolutely. You want to say that, and then
Staubach
all
come
your
up with
friends
that?
be like, "Man, he knows the Latin version.
Exactly.
Of Hail Mary. Good job."
He could be Pope someday.
Was that? Did anybody call it that before Staubach? Was Staubach the first one to actually call it the Hail Mary?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. We all might have to research for unsolicited.
Oh my
sports
gosh,
history.
we got too much to do on this whole Pope talk. Nick was telling me that you could just get to pick your name, so he just like Leo.
Well, you pick your Pope name.
Yeah, the
I
Pope
don't
has
think he
to
just said,
select the
"Hey,
holy
Leo."
name, yeah.
I think there's a reason why he picked that. I think it's Leo the 14th, right? We
Yes,
figured that
the
out.
14th.
Oh, so there's other Leos.
Yes.
Okay.
So historically, there's a reason why he picked that.
So my whole life, John Paul was not the son of the first John Paul.
We're all descendants of St. Peter, though.
I know, but this is blowing my mind today. If you were to tell me this, I would have thought this Pope Leo had a dad named Leo, a grandpa named Leo, all the way
13
down
generations
13
prior.
generations of
Probably.
Leo.
A lot of Leos.
So there's reasons why they pick these names.
All right, Ben can watch a movie tonight or
What is it?
sometime.
Okay,
It's
go
called
watch-
Shoes of a Fisherman. Go learn the whole
Yeah,
thing.
Shoes
and
of a
go and
Fisherman?
listen. I just
Okay.
watched a movie that just was done, I think, last year called Conclave, which
Even
is
more
okay.
apt.
Right.
That's even more apt.
Yeah, and it really shows you how these cardinals, they kind of have their little cliques and how they end up picking a pope and stuff like that. So,
Oh, we got to go to break. I'm sorry.
oh my God, yes. Anyway, good luck, Pope Leo the 14th from Chicago.
Go Cubs!
Jim Penders will join us next year. We'll talk some UConn baseball.